Good morning, good morning, good morning. Grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. This is the pre-show mantra. We will get into the show momentarily. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be rich. I deserve to be wealthy. I deserve to be free. The more you learn, the more you earn. Thereby, the more you earn, the more you learn. The stock market is a machine, and I am more than capable of operating this machine. Let's get into it, y'all. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you're tuning in from around the globe, welcome to the $1 Trillion Tickers broadcast, and welcome to the $1 Trillion Tickers family. This is a live market breakdown covering the $1 trillion stocks, SPX, the NASDAQ 100, SPY, QQQ. We cover pre-market levels, opening bell moves, headlines that move the market, and headlines associated with our $1 trillion stocks. We'll be looking at charts, checking out Bitcoin and Ethereum, and some motivation along the way. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment only. Always do your own research, but you can use this show as a foundation. Let's get into it, y'all. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, good people. Shout out to everybody on TikTok Live and YouTube Live. All right, here we go. This first piece of news, actually, before we get into the news, you know how we start the show. What we got to do is we got to check out our market caps for our $1 trillion tickers, y'all. The number one, NVIDIA, the most valuable company in the world, at 4.4 trillion. Followed by Google, 3.9 trillion. Apple, 3.8 trillion. Microsoft, 3.5 trillion. Amazon, 2.6 trillion. TSM, 1.67 trillion. Meta, 1.64 trillion. AVGO, 1.63 trillion. Tesla, 1.48 trillion. And Berkshire.B, $1 trillion, y'all. All right, let's get into these pre-market levels. NVIDIA, pre-market low, 182.40. As you can see, the huge gap down over the weekend. Pre-market high, 183.61. Apple, pre-market low, 257.07. Pre-market high, 259.91. Google also had a serious gap down. Pre-market low, 324.85. Pre-market high, 326.82. Microsoft, pre-market low, 474.80. Pre-market high, 476.91. Amazon, pre-market low, 244.28. Pre-market high, 246.20. TSM, pre-market low, 320.65. Pre-market high, 323.40. AVGO, pre-market low, 337.77. Pre-market high, 340.93. Meta, pre-market low, 645.26. And it had this huge candle at 6 o'clock. This is a 10-minute chart. Let's see what time this came in. Meta had some type of news at 6:06 because this candle was huge. This candle, the low was 648, and the high was 657, y'all. So we definitely got to find out what that Meta news was. So Meta pre-market low 645.26, pre-market high 657, y'all. Tesla pre-market low 440, pre-market high 443.82. Berkshire.B pre-market low 497.16, pre-market high 498.21. The VIX, as you can see, the VIX gapped up from Friday. The VIX is now, it did hit 1666 in the pre-market, but it's currently at 1588. SPY, you can see the gap down there clearly. Pre-market low 688.88, pre-market high 690.78. QQQ, same thing, major gap down over the weekend. Pre-market low 620.25, pre-market high 622.69. SPX, pre-market low 6,911, pre-market high 6,931. And the NASDAQ 100, pre-market low 25,459, pre-market high pre-market high 25,587, y'all. All right, let's check out some news. Our first piece of news comes from Stock Market News on Twitter. Apple has now sold more than $1 trillion worth of iPhones since the start of 2020, y'all. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Apple has sold more than $1 trillion worth of iPhones since the start of 2020. That is incredible. That is incredible, y'all. That is incredible. Next piece of news. This is from Benzinga. It's about Shaq. Okay, it's kind of long, but let me read it right quick. Shaq has built a reputation for smart business moves, but one of his biggest wins happened almost by accident. Early in his career, he was offered a chance to put money into a young tech company that most people had never heard of. That company turned out to be Google, y'all. Google. Early in Shaq's career. So you know, that was in the 90s. Shaq invested around $250,000 without fully realizing how big it could become. Years later, he learned from a newspaper report that the investment had multiplied dramatically. He joked that his only regret was not buying more. Man, that is always it. When it comes to this investing game, when you put some money in and that thing run up crazy, you like, man, why I didn't put more? Every single time. And then also in this investing game, if you put some money somewhere and that thing don't go how you thought it was going to go, how you wanted it to go, you be like, man, I put too much in that thing. It always happens. It's part of the game, y'all. Okay, back to the story. The opportunity came through relationships. Shaq met a well-connected investor at a restaurant who encouraged him to take the chance. Trust, curiosity, and willingness to say yes put him in the position to benefit from one of the most successful companies ever built. If he had kept all of his shares, that original investment could have been worth $16 million by Google's 20th IPO anniversary. Not bad for something he once called accidental. Shaq's story is a reminder that wealth often grows from patience, ownership, and getting involved early. Tech investing is not guaranteed, and timing is impossible to predict, but when the right idea meets long-term thinking, the results can be life-changing. Shout out Shaq, man. Shaq is definitely one of the best investors from the NBA to do it. You know what I mean? All right, this next piece of news comes from the Kobayashi letter. It was about a Trump tweet. Trump said, Iran is looking at freedom, perhaps like never before. The U.S. stands ready to help. That sounds like Trump want to invade Iran, y'all. That's what it sounds like to me. All right. So this next piece of news on Twitter, it says Google, who owns YouTube, is the king of entertainment when it comes to viewing time. The lowest is Warner Brothers Discovery, followed by Netflix. And then there's two more. It doesn't say what they are. And then a number one is YouTube, y'all. I would have to agree because I'm on YouTube more than I watch any other platform for sure. And I'm also an investor in Google. So shout out to that news. All right, this next piece of news comes from Unusual Whales. I'm not going to play the clip, but it's just Scott Bessett saying that the S&P has grown over 10% each year since the 1950s. Assuming that growth rate continues, the $1,000 deposit into the Trump accounts for the kids will grow to over $600,000, y'all, by the age of retirement. So imagine if you put $1,000 every year for your kid, how much it's gonna be. All right, this next piece of news comes about Amazon. Amazon's latest store concept is a Walmart super center style. So Amazon is thinking about creating a store like a Walmart super center, y'all. It's going to be, the first one is going to be 228,000 feet, y'all. 228,000 feet, square feet, in Orland Park, Illinois. This was approved last week. Combines groceries, merchandise, online order pickup, directly challenging Walmart and Target big box dominance. This format evolves Amazon's prior physical experiments like 500 plus Whole Foods and 58 Amazon Fresh stores, focusing on a purpose-built hybrid model after shuttering smaller locations. And on this image, for the people on TikTok, you can't see the image, but if you go on my YouTube, you can see the image. It is a customer with a high-tech grocery cart, and it looks like once you put the item into the cart, it will ring it up for you on the cart. That's what it looks like to me. All right, this next piece of news comes from AMD. It was about the hackathon. These are the hackathon winners. They look to be high school kids. So let's see what they have to say. It's about a 1-minute clip, y'all.
So the hackathon that we participated in is called Prototype, and it is a hackathon co-hosted by AMD and Hack Club, where we got to build real-world hardware projects using the Lee robot arm and the hardware provided by AMD, specifically the AMD Ryzen AI processors. Ours is called Arm Tender. It's a robot barista that serves you drinks based on the result of a wheel that it spins. It's sort of like a wheel of fortune. I'm not a super big hardware girly, so this was one of my first times using it really seriously. What was really amazing was seeing what machine learning could do with really like a limited amount of training data. I think our main goal was to make a project that's fun and people would love to engage with. It was really nice learning a new technology and building something cool over the weekend. I think Hack Club is really amazing. It brings people together a lot. I felt like a proud mom seeing it work the first time. All of this work that I have been doing these years in smaller student-led groups fits really well into the conversation of the whole industry. Really thanks to AMD as well as Hack Club for bringing this amazing opportunity. It really helps teenagers get exposed to new technology and build amazing things.
Shout out AMD and Lisa Su. They got something called a Hack Club. I wish they had that. When I was in high school, I definitely would have been trying to, we love technology and robotics. All right. I'm going to skip that one. Okay. This next piece of news comes about Tesla. So let me put Tesla on the screen while we talk about them. Okay. It says Tesla's future robotaxi won't even have a charging port. The Cybercab is being built to self-charge itself. No plugs, no people, no downtime. No port, no problem. Cybercab will use inductive charging pads embedded in the ground. Just park over the pad, no cables, no plugs, no human. Targets 25 kilowatts charging speed with over 90% efficiency. Built for autonomous fleets to charge themselves and stay on the road. Tesla is designing the robotaxi for full autonomy, full uptime, and full velocity. Ooh, that's dope. That's super dope. That's super dope. I definitely gotta buy one of them and just let that thing run around for me and make that bread for me. Because once it paid off, it's all profits, y'all. All right. Market open, market open, market open. Let's go, y'all. Let's go. Let's get it. The market is open. January 12th, 2026. The market is open. We out here. Let's get it. Let's get this bread. Let's check out our $1 trillion tickers. What are we doing? It looks like NVIDIA bounced on the gap in the pre-market. NVIDIA is currently down 0.5% at 183.88. Apple is down fractionally at 259.29. Google is down over 1% at 325.19. Microsoft is down almost 0.5% at 477.58. Amazon is down fractionally at 247.21. TSM is barely over break even at 323. AVGO, that's a nice big candle on AVGO, is up, headed toward 0.5% at 346.55, y'all. Meta is down. Meta is in the gap. No, Meta is in the consolidation zone. Meta is down fractionally at 652, y'all. Tesla is down almost 1.5% at 438. Berkshire.B is down over 0.25% at 497.30. The VIX is up 8% at 1575. SPY is down over 0.25% at 691.81. QQQ is down almost 0.5% at 624.25. SPX is down 0.25% at 6,941. And the NASDAQ 100 is down almost 0.5% at 25,650. But it does look like a good first candle, y'all, of the day. All right, let's check out the Fear and Greed Index. See what we got. All right, the Fear and Greed Index is 53. We are in neutral, y'all. We are in neutral. We are headed towards greed. Because remember last week, we were a lot closer to the fear side. But fear is leaving and greed is coming into the market, y'all. All right. Let's check out some more news here. This is from Trump on credit card rates. I think I have a video for this, so I'm not going to read it. I think I have a video for that later. Okay, this next piece of news comes from Amazon Pharmacy. It is now offering Novo Nordisk home delivery across all 50 states. So if you want that GLP-1 obesity treatment that is not injection, that it is pill form, then you can order it through Amazon Pharmacy in all 50 states and they will deliver it to your house and it will help you lose weight. I don't know about the side effects. Y'all got to look into that yourselves, but that is the GLP-1 obesity treatment. All right. This next piece of news comes from Unusual Whales. Apple CEO Tim Cook has told senior leaders that he is tired and he would like to reduce his workload. So if you're looking at the screen right now, I do have 8 tickers up here, the 8 most valuable companies in the world. Top left-hand corner, headed to the right, we go NVIDIA, Apple, Google, Microsoft, and then underneath NVIDIA, we have Amazon, followed by TSM, Broadcom, and Meta Platforms. It looks like AVGO is bouncing. Didn't we call that last week, y'all? Let's see. I was about to break out. Okay, so if we get a nice breakout move here on AVGO, then we may... No, it's not ready yet. But it is breaking this. It is breaking this resistance trend line, this daily resistance trend line. So if we get a nice breakout, we may need to wait for a retest. But yeah, we almost ready to get into AVGO, y'all. Let me get back to this. I just remember I called that out last week. All right, next piece of news. The QQQ, the NASDAQ 100, is rebalancing. And Walmart will be added, y'all. Walmart will be added. Let me put Walmart up on the chart, y'all. Let me put Walmart up on the chart. Wow, you see that? You see that gap up right there? That is based on the news. Because you know, once you get accepted into the QQQ, then all these funds are going to be putting a lot of money into your business. So yeah, Walmart hit all-time highs today off the news. It gapped up over the weekend. Walmart is replacing AstraZeneca in the QQQ, y'all. So man, shout out Walmart, man. I definitely be shopping there sometimes. Definitely shop there most of the time since I've been shopping. All right, let's see. All right, this next piece of news from Twitter is actually some motivation. Okay, it's from Wealth Squad Chris. It says, "You can't be married to old ideas, old habits, or old ways of thinking, old ways of solving problems, and expect your future to be any different than your past and present." Ooh, that's good game right there, y'all. That's good game. All right. Next piece of news. Before I do that, let's check out some of these sectors, y'all. Let's check out the sectors and see where money is flowing into and where money is flowing out of. Technology. Let's go on a 1 minute chart. Technology is moving to the upside barely, but the chart looks good. So technology is barely over break even. That's XLK at $146.15. XLY, our consumer discretionary ETF, is down over 0.5% at 123.60. XLC, our communications ETF, is down over 0.25% at 117.53. XLF, our financials sector ETF, is down over 1% at 55.12. XLV, our healthcare ETF, is down over 0.5% at 156.49. XLP, our consumer staples ETF, is up fractionally at 79.39. XLE, our energy ETF, is down over 0.5% at 46.41, y'all. XLU, our utilities ETF, is down over 0.25% at 42.41, y'all. XLI, our industrial ETF, is up fractionally at 162. XLB, our materials sector ETF, is down fractionally at 48.24. And XLRE, our real estate ETF, is up, headed toward 0.25% at $40.57, y'all. So the leading sector for today is consumer staples, probably because Walmart is in there. And who's doing the worst for today is XLF It's the only one that's down over 1%, y'all. All right, let's check out our next piece of news. So this is a letter from Tim Cook. He's basically talking about I don't want to read the whole thing. Let me see. This has been an exceptional year at Apple. We are excited about all the ways we are sharing our products, pushing the limits of what's possible, and making technology that empowers people and enriches their lives. This is an ideal moment to reflect on where we are today. And in that spirit, I'd like you to join us for the 2026 annual meeting of shareholders on February 24th, 2026, where we will celebrate all we've accomplished over the past year. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not reading more than that. If you want to check out the letter, check it out. It's on Twitter. But yeah, I will be joining the investor meeting because I am an investor in Apple. It is one of my biggest positions in my portfolio. Shout out to Apple. Shout out to the iPhone buyers. All right. This is a quick 30-second clip from Warren Buffett. Check it out, y'all. Oh, this thing tripping. What's wrong with this?
Selling a stock.
Yeah, selling a stock.
All right, let's check it out. Here we go.
If you're going to do dumb things because your stock goes down, you shouldn't own a stock at all. No, I mean,
what are dumb things? Selling a stock.
Yeah, selling a stock as it goes down. I mean, if you buy your house at $20,000 and somebody comes along next day and says, "I'll pay you 15," you don't sell it because the quote's 15. You look at the house or whatever it may be. But some people are not actually emotionally or psychologically fit to own stocks. But I think more of them would be if you get educated on what you're really buying, which is part of a business. And the longer you hold stocks, the less risky they'd be.
That's good game. Good game for Warren Buffett. The longer you hold stocks, the less risky they be. Especially ETFs. Because if the stocks aren't doing good, they will lower the percentage of the holding. And if they do bad, they will just get kicked out the ETF. So only the best companies are in ETFs. Speaking of ETFs, let's check out some of our ETFs we like to look at. This is the Dow Jones Industrial ETF, y'all. It's down almost 0.5% today at 492.73. IWM. This is the Russell 2000. It's down fractionally at $259. SPYM. Oh, it looks like I need to move this all-time high to up here from Friday. All right, move that all-time high. So SPYM, this is actually the S&P 500, y'all. So if you don't want to pay the price it costs to buy a share of SPY for over $600, you can get the same companies, the same holdings from the same fund, which is State Street. You can get the same thing for $81 a share, y'all. $81 a share. This next one is QQQM. So you don't have to pay over $600 for regular QQQ. You can get the mini version of it for $257, y'all. SPYG. This is the growth companies in the S&P 500. This is brought to you by State Street, the same company that makes SPYM and SPY. And you can get these growth companies for $107, y'all. $107.98. SOXQ. You want to invest in microchip companies, but you don't feel like paying the high price for SOXX or SMH, which are both over $300 a share. You can buy this ETF for $60 a share, y'all. And you will get that exposure to the semiconductor sector, y'all, which is a sector of technology. TQQQ, this is a triple leverage ETF. It is not for beginners. This is triple leverage. I recommend only buying this if we go into recession or we have a crash. So basically, remember 2022 when it was the worst year in the market since the financial crisis? That was the perfect time to buy TQQQ. Or you remember in April of last year when the market dropped very fast? So basically, this is TQQQ. So that means the regular QQQ, when it goes up or down 1%, this will go up or down 3%. So that's why you have to wait for a dramatic downturn in the market before you buy this. Okay, SOXL, this is the same thing. It's triple leverage, y'all. It's triple leverage. So that means when SOXX is down or up 1%, this will be down or up 3%. This is the same thing like TQQQ. It's a triple leverage ETF. So that means you should not be buying it unless there's a dramatic downturn in the market like 2022 or like April or like the COVID crash. It has to be a dramatic downturn in the market, y'all. All right, SOXX. This is the semiconductor ETF. It is very expensive. And then here's another semiconductor ETF, SMH. It's also very expensive, so I don't recommend these when you can just buy it for $60 a share. All right, XLG. I really like this one. All right, I can't wait to actually buy some shares of this. This is actually the top 50 stocks in the S&P 500. The top 50 only. So if you don't want to buy the top 500, you just want to buy the top 50, then you can buy this. And this costs $59 a share. I wouldn't buy it right now because it's too close to all-time highs. But definitely put that on your watch list because I can't wait to buy it. The gap down is under the gap right now. The all-time high is 60.63. So it's very close to all-time highs. I wouldn't buy it right now. Okay, next is Ives. I know if you know Dan Ives from Wedbush, he's a big tech bull. He actually created his own ETF last year. And this is it. As you can see, it hit the all-time high at 35.25. It's trying to break this resistance level, this resistance trend line here. And it is very close to it. For more upside, I do need it to break this 33.49. SPYI, for those that want a high income ETF, I found this SPYI. This is from Neo's group. It's not from State Street. So what they do is they sell covered calls on SPY and they use the profits to pay high dividends to investors. So it's very close to the all-time high. The good thing about this is it pays a monthly dividend. So, and another good thing about it is so the last week of every month, the payment day is Friday. And then the ex-dividend date is Wednesday. So that means you have to buy the shares at least on Tuesday of that same week in order to be eligible. You have to own the shares before the ex-dividend date. So if the ex-dividend date is on Wednesday, you have to own the shares either on Tuesday or before, and then you'll be paid on Friday. And this is QQQI. It is the same thing, except it's QQQI. It's the same company, the Neo's group, high income ETF. So this one tracks the Qs, the other one tracks SPY. As you can see, I have my dividend entry here at $55. I bought it on Tuesday, December 23rd, and it pulled back to a low of 53.55, and now it is at 54.57. So once it gets back to $55, I will be selling my shares. I got my dividend a long time ago, and I'm just waiting to sell these shares. So we got about 43 cents to the upside, and I'll be able to sell my shares because I already got my dividend. I'll just be going back to cash. All right, let's check out our $1 trillion tickers, y'all. Let's see how we moving. I'm gonna put on a 5-minute chart right now, y'all. All right, so we got NVIDIA down fractionally at 184.67. Apple down almost 0.5% at 258. Google down over 0.25% at 327. Microsoft is up 0.25% at 480. Amazon is down fractionally at 274. Excuse me. Amazon is down fractionally at 247. TSM is down 0.5% at 322. AVGO is up almost 2% at 351. Meta is down 0.5% at 649. Tesla is up 0.5% at 447. Berkshire.B is down almost 0.5% at 496.94. The VIX is slowly falling. It's now at 1551. SPY is down fractionally at 693. QQQ is down fractionally as well at 626. SPX is down a little under break even at 6,960. And the NASDAQ 100 is down a little bit under break even at 25,744, y'all. All right, this next piece of news, it comes from, let me adjust my charts right quick, y'all, so y'all can see these if you're watching on YouTube or TikTok Live. Shout out to everybody on YouTube Live and TikTok Live. Okay, this next piece of news. SpaceX has won $739 million in new Pentagon contracts for U.S. military launches. Wow. Almost $1 billion, y'all. Well, basically, almost $750 million in new Pentagon contracts. So I guess Elon and Trump is cool. Yeah, that's big paper, y'all. And SpaceX might that's definitely good for the SpaceX IPO, y'all, if it comes this year with that new contract. Okay, this next piece of news comes from Robinhood. It says somebody had posted that they maxed out their Roth already for 2026 of $7,500, y'all, into their Roth in Robinhood. And Robinhood replied saying that's the best way to start the new year. And I think because he did that and he has Robinhood Gold, that he was awarded $225. I believe that's what that 225 means in the middle of this circle. All right. The next piece of news comes from Trump. Mortgage rates are now 5.7%. Mortgage costs were huge under Biden, around 8%. That's why almost no young families could afford a home. With my focus on housing affordability, and after I authorized Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to invest their cash and buy $200 billion in mortgage bonds, mortgage rates moved down to 5.7%. This is great news for the American families and a real cost relief. We are bringing down housing costs and we're putting Americans first. Shout out to the mortgage rates going down, y'all. All right. The iPhone was released 19 years ago, plus 3 days. 2007, y'all. Steve Jobs unveiled the first Apple iPhone. And there is the iconic video. I'm not going to play it here, but shout out to Apple, man. I wish I was invested in Apple when the iPhone drops. All right. This next piece of news. Oh, this is a pretty long article. Yeah, I'm not going to read that right now. We'll save it for tomorrow. Michael Burry said he was short OpenAI at a $500 billion valuation. So if OpenAI ends up IPOing this year, if the value is $500 billion, Burry says he's going to short it. Burry currently has put options on Oracle. Just for context. Okay. This next piece of news talks about the fraud in the U.S. government. It's a quick clip. 20 seconds. Here it is, y'all.
Wide, and it's considered that even that number you're seeing there, 233 to 521 billion dollars a year, that's probably on the low end. That it's actually much higher because that just comes from a small number of federal agencies that actually report improper payments. Medicare, Medicaid hold the largest share of that. So now this major fraud investigation wide, and it's considered that.
Damn, that is crazy fraud, y'all. Between 233 billion and 521 billion in a 4-year period. That is how much the government lost to fraud. And Elon retweeted that and said, it's really much higher. Okay, this next piece of news. I don't even know how to say this word. Say this company. Mizuho raised NVIDIA's price target to $275, up from $245, while maintaining an outperforming rating, y'all. And they also raised Google's price target to $365, up from $325, while maintaining its outperformance rating. Okay, let's see how long we've been on. Oh yeah, we're gonna cut it short today, y'all. It's Monday. I gotta work early today, but I appreciate y'all for tuning in. $1 trillion tickers, y'all. Before we go, if you are new to investing and you don't know where to start, I created this video just for you. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to play just a snippet. So this is called Stock Market Basics for Beginners. Simple explanations and real life examples. So if you want to watch the whole thing, just check out my YouTube channel, Matt Rich's 510 AI Music. So here's an example of it. So there's slides on and audio. Oh, where's my audio at, y'all? Give me 1 second.
What exactly is the stock market? It is a digital marketplace connecting the world. It is the central place where businesses find investors and people buy and sell ownership. Think of it like a giant global farmers market. Instead of fruits and vegetables, companies like Apple or Amazon sell pieces of their business. Key takeaways. It's where buyers and sellers meet. Prices change based on supply and demand, and most trading happens instantly on your phone or computer.
So yeah, that's just a quick snippet. This video is actually 8 minutes. As you can see, the next question is, what is a stock? So I just wanted to show y'all that. And if you want to check it out, definitely go check it out on my channel. So if you prefer to learn like that, we have a slide for each question that I'm answering about the market. And if you prefer to learn podcast style, I created this podcast style, y'all. So you can check it out here. So this is podcast style beginner stock market information. I'm going to give you a snippet. Where's my audio, y'all?
It can feel like everyone's speaking a secret language.
Hold on, let me start it over.
Okay, let's unpack this. If you've ever tried to read a financial article or, listen to market commentary, it can feel like everyone's speaking a secret language.
It really can. The stock market, wealth building.
Yeah,
It's like a club with rules only the insiders know.
exactly.
And I think that's why we're here, right? When we looked at the stack of sources you provided, the mission just became so clear. We have to translate that language.
Yes.
We need to establish the foundational mechanics, how the market works, and maybe even more importantly, explain why sitting on the sidelines just isn't an option anymore if you want to build real financial security.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so if you want to learn podcast style about investing, you can check out this video on my YouTube channel. Yeah, so that's it, y'all. Yeah, that's it for today. Thank y'all for joining me. $1 Trillion Tickers is the show. I am your host, Matt Riches. We get money from this market. We're going to continue to get it, y'all. Every damn day. We'll be back tomorrow, live, pre-market and market open, talking the news, what's going on. I got a lot more news that I didn't even get to. We're going to run it back. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom.